you so much. Yeah, we are loaded.
Thank you. Questions, answers, comments from the audience? Time, because we almost come to the end of the session, the whole program, so it's time for you to say what's in your mind before we go. Just let's open. You can possibly put on your video, your mic. Let's make it a bit interactive, so that it won't be like a monologue. Professor, teachers, formal way of learning. We want to make it as informal as possible. You can please put on your camera as well. We can get to see you. We might have people that want to employ you here in this forum, and they want to see your face, and they want to see your pattern, your behavioral pattern. To see. So please feel free to put on your video so we can get to know you.
Hello. Sorry, unfortunately, I cannot turn on my video because it's upside down. Don't want it to be confusing again.
Yes,
but I have. I want to get some clarification from the speaker, Dr. Ibrahim. I know we always familiar with the fact that Hamburg, Berlin, and Frankfurt are like the, I don't know to say, best paying places to get a job. But I'm also concerned about, living costs. So if you say they're paying well, but you have to pay these high living expenses, at the end of the day, does it not counter on your income? Why not just remain a medium-sized medium location, and then also get some value, so quiet, and then some, live in a low-income area? What do you think about it? How would you explain it to me to encourage me to move out, to move to Frankfurt?
Good.
That's one. Okay.
Okay.
That's one of the questions. Should I just say, or should I wait for
go to the second one too, then I would answer.
Okay, the second one is for cover letters. So there's the cover letters. You can either write your addresses. So your address is on the right, and then the person you're writing to is on the left. But there are some other ones that write it on the left. So your own is on top, and the other one is underneath. So is that ideal? I've seen it, but I haven't tried it. Is that a new thing that we should take along, that we should do? And then, so we're talking about empowering women. For me, I've really been restricted or limited in my job search because I'm restricted by my parental responsibilities. It's not easy for me to say, oh, I want to go to Frankfurt. I want to go to. I'm looking for a job, but I have to look within. Okay, where I am. Even if I want to go out, I'm thinking, oh, how many hours will it take me? I need a job within 1 hour train ride, or those kind of things. So I feel like my options are limited. And what can I do about it? I can't leave the kids and go. So how do I balance it? Or what to be that thing that I can use to make up with it? And then I think lastly, also, when we're talking about languages, you say we should look for international firms. There are some international firms here in Freiburg that I have spoken to. I also know that they have firms in the US. It's like the same company, they have a branch in the US. But when you go and meet them, they're expecting they want you to also speak German. Of course, my German language is like B1, but they want B2. So it's a bit, there's this limitation. So how do we handle that? We're just restricted in one way or the other.
Okay, good. Thank you, Madam Moye. And I think I will start from the cover letter aspect, so which has to do with the left and right. I've also seen the cover letters where, in fact, sometimes you see everything is on the left. On the top, your own address, below the address of the company. I've also seen this. In fact, it was when I came to Germany that I first encountered this. So it's allowed. Nobody will penalize you for that. If you have yours on the right-hand side, the company zone on the left-hand side is allowed. So like diagonally, and if you have them on the same side too, especially on the left side, nobody will penalize you. I've seen both in that way. So that I hope that answers that. Okay, then I will go to the aspect of being limited due to the fact that one has young kids, and also the environment where one is not so, let's say, maybe productive compared to those major cities that we've mentioned, maybe Hamburg, Berlin, and all those places. And this was one of the reasons why I suggested the aspect of the remote work. And I think since COVID-19, a lot of companies, in fact, when you search all these job platforms, you can also see a kind of a section where you can click on remote. So sometimes when you search, you can just look at all the remote jobs. And I think you have a lot of call centers job now. In fact, I've seen that now that a lot of foreigners are joining this kind of call center jobs where they work as customer, customer support or something like that, product support officers for companies. And the only thing they do is they receive calls, they explain those, maybe you have a challenge with their product and you kind of log it in on the platform of the company and you send it to the company. Many people have been saying this, and I think maybe in the near future we can also invite 1 or 2 persons who is doing this, because I learned they're also well paid and they're earning well. I mean, from what I've heard so far. So when family is there, kids are there to be taken care of. I will always advise a lot of migrant women to look for those remote jobs that they can be doing from home. So proofreading is one thing. Many companies are looking for English proofreaders. Many German companies are looking for them. And that's why I've also said Upwork or Fiverr, these are platforms where you can go to also advertise yourself that, okay, I can proofread a document, I can do this if you have time to do that. So I've mentioned the call center for customer support. I've also mentioned proofreading. Then there is also something new that I've been, I just came across that thing recently, and it has to do with local languages. So there are a lot of parents, international parents, that are looking for their local language from their home country speakers who can teach younger ones here in Germany. And I've seen some colleagues who have enrolled their kids, and if you can do the teaching in your local language, you can advertise yourself and also share it. And this is something they do via Zoom. Via Zoom, you teach them the local language. If it's Arabic, if it's Yoruba, if it's a dual language or Benin, everything is there now. So those kind of things you can look out for, those kind of jobs that can provide you with some kind of stable income. So looking into the aspect of going to the bigger cities like Hamburg and Co, because you earn high there, you also have to pay high. The reason, if you look at that map I showed you, it says German most happier cities or something like that. So this provides you with the insight that the opportunities are more down there. So for example, if I'm to give you my own experience, and I think you also know me, I stayed in Freiburg. I lived in Freiburg, and after some time, I had to leave Freiburg to seek for a job in Cologne. So, and I noticed that the expenses in Cologne Bonn is super high. So I had to leave my family in Freiburg so that I'll be able to match up with, there's something in here in Germany when you don't have a contract, it's like you don't have when you don't have a contract, you don't have a living or something like that. So I have to look for the contract out there. So when the contract was not forthcoming within the system here. So if you look at that kind of situation, it has to do with what can give me the opportunity to start earning instead of me having no income. And so this is one aspect. And the other aspect is those cities, they are very open. Those things that you don't find in enclosed city or a remote city like Freiburg, for example, you have it in those bigger cities like Hamburg. So you can imagine Hamburg, Berlin, Cologne, Bonn, they have a lot of international events happening every day and in different forms. And there's a lot of services that are needed. So you can imagine those kind of cities providing those opportunities that a smaller city like Freiburg don't offer. So these are the reason why people are always encouraged to move down there, because you know you're open to opportunities aside the major job that you feel you want to get. You can also be doing something nearby to keep you moving. So I hope I've been able to answer all the questions. I don't know, maybe I've been able to capture everything.
Yes, you have. And
Yeah.
just a quick follow-up on the question, sorry. So
Okay.
this freelancing job, I'm not sure if as a student, if I'm allowed to, I've not been able to get the clarification, if I'm allowed to take on freelancing job, because I know taxation and all that. Somehow there's this discussion on that. There are some things that we're not supposed to do. So I don't know if you have any idea on that. That will also help, to
Yes. Okay, good. I think for freelancing job, most times people go to the finance amt and even about time to make a proper clarification, because as a student, we have the numbers of hours we are allowed to work in a year. So I think, I think there are some jobs that I think is it below 600 euro or so. I think it was increased from 400 euro. I don't know, maybe anybody could help me with this. So if you do those kind of jobs that are below, I think 600 euros, there's no need to register anything like a freelance. So these are like
so do you need 600 euros per month if it's per month?
yes, per
Okay.
month. Yeah, yes. So with that, there is no kind of limitation to declare anything with the tax office, official. So, but I feel when it comes to freelancing, there are a lot of people doing this, and they've been able to use this to maintain themselves even while they are doing their studies. So possibly the strategy to go about this, possibly we might also have to bring in somebody who will be able to tell us how he or she was able to manage such kind of thing. But I know people do a lot of freelancing. Then when you also do those online freelancing thing that I've showed through maybe Fiverr and Co. Possibly maybe you do a project for someone and you are paid, let's say maybe maximum of 250 euros. So this has nothing to do with those kind of declaration. But you can imagine maybe you start having like 10 projects and you're doing that and you're earning like 2,500 euro a month through that. So possibly this might be something you have to now look into, where you have to go to the tax office and things like that. But I think it's important we further find time to bring in experts who are really doing this freelancing. I mean, many people are doing this, but we really have to hear the experience and let them tell us how they've been able to manage through. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That'll be all.
Any other question from the audience?
Yeah, hello. Please, I have a question.
Go on, please.
Okay. I moved into Germany 2 years ago on a family reunion visa, and I had my first degree from my home country, Nigeria. So coming into Germany, I thought I would not be able to work with my certificates from Nigeria. That was my assumption. So I said, okay, I started learning the language, which is German. And as of now, I'm done with the language. But I then realized that I can actually work with my certificate here, but I need to do other certificate courses, not necessarily a master's degree. Yeah. So though I've been able to apply for some and started some on my own, but I don't know which field, I don't know, certificate course, or which is the best that I can take. I studied international relations, but I don't mind looking at moving into the IT field. So please, what would you advise? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Damilola, for the question. I think it's important, this self-evaluation that Natasha mentioned is one of the key things that you can really sit down to look at those, the IT field is also wide. So what exactly or what area do you want to venture into? And I think the Arbeitsagentur, the job center or Arbeitsagentur, they have a program now that when you approach them as as a woman with family reunion, they can provide you with this kind of a good shine that you can use to register with all these companies that are teaching people all this coding, UX, UI, all those kind of things. I think regularly I do see the adverts on every platform. I don't know, maybe you also come across this advert. So where they will ask, are you interested in doing this? So those kind of jobs, those kind of opportunities are available through the finance app. If you approach them, then the other aspect is it's also important to have a kind of guide or a mentor who will be able to guide you in the IT field. I've seen a lot of people venture into the UX UI based on the guide they had from their mentors, and within a week, just finishing the program, they got good jobs. So it has to do with the people already in the market to tell you this is how you organize your CV. This is the way you write it. Since you've been able to do this in your training, for example, while you are doing the IT training, maybe on Python, maybe you did some project. So put your project online. So when they see your CV, they can pick your project and read about your project. They know you can do this. So, and I think it's important you reach out to the to the Arbeitsagentur for this kind of good shine that you can use to go for this kind of training and look at the one that really suits you and engage in that. Then you as an international relation graduate with a BS in that field, you can always look at, now you speak German, so there's also a lot of opportunity in this area. There's a lot of development cooperation or development organization in Germany, and they need international relation expert like you who understand the culture of both world, maybe let's say Africa and Europe, who can help them do some kind of negotiation and also mediation and things like that. So you can also approach even the Arbeitsagentur and you can discuss with them. They will be able to tell you that, oh, these are the jobs that are available. UN jobs are many too in Germany here. I never knew this job center have access to those jobs. But those ones you have to move, maybe you move to one city, this kind of thing. So you have to think about that. But if you feel you like the ones that will make you to work remotely from home, you can emphasize on that because of the family and things like that. So I think working remotely now is not a new thing any longer. So it has come and stay. So if you are seeking for new opportunities, just seek those kind of opportunities, and I think you will get it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
To just add from probably the comments down and also you, Damilola and Okoyemi. I think Okoyemi wrote something in line. Oh, okay. So again, the IT, I have seen a lot of Nigerians who are doing IT here in Germany without any German degree. A lot of them, a lot. Okay. So most important thing in IT is have the skill. You're able to defend your skill. Then you look for jobs in IT. One day I was surprised I went to Chemnitz. In Chemnitz, I saw that all the whole guys there were all doing IT and they are working. IT support, IT security, and some other IT.
Even some here in Freiburg and in Berlin too.
And most of the time they work from home.
Yeah.
I was so surprised, and they came in as a student, but in the process they just got the job and got full-time contract, and okay, I will just quietly finish my degree, but I already have a job. All right. I went to Berlin, I see that is software, hubs of software. So if you learn a new skill like a web developer, a full stack, or front-end design, or back-end design, or learn something on ML ops or DevOps, cloud, even cloud computing. These are areas in IT that you can skill yourself in, right? Cloud computing, ML ops, DevOps, software development in general, you always see jobs if you are good, irrespective of your degree. Okay, so, and if you have done something into that you are not looking for, you have done some degrees here, or like you said, you study international relations, you can look for, as Dr. Brian said, NGO jobs. Look for NGOs, a lot of them. Apply, anyone. Sometimes start with volunteering with them or doing internship with them. All right, start with that. And there's some NGOs that are really family friendly. You know, they say, okay, we can give you part-time contracts when you do some activities for us. You know, these are where you should start from. Again, so I don't know if I've answered your questions or I've added some value to your question. So
Yeah. Thank you, you did. Well, please, I have another question. Is there a possibility of getting an internship position when you are not a student?
Yes, you can get internship position. So internship here, it's in Germany, it's when you're not a student, but you have a degree, it means before a bachelor's degree or wherever. So it's a place for you to learn the German system of working. All right. So it always gives you edge when you are applying in other places in the future. When your employer sees that you have done an internship in Germany, is more a bit relaxed, that you already know the working behavioral pattern in Germany, because most internationals do not know, if they have not worked in Germany, they do not know the stress it takes to work in Germany. So they will think they know, or they do not know. All right. But when you have worked and see that you're able to work under stress, all right, and you're able to do, internship is just like full-time job. You're ready to learn in the job, ready to be somebody that is very valuable to the team, right? And sometimes even where you have done your internship, they may retain you. Or sometimes when you go to a new employer, they will be able to pick your CV because you already have a German working experience. All right, so you can start with that, even volunteering. For the fact that I've interviewed a lot of people, so the fact that I see that you have volunteered in something part, it gives me a bit bias that I will want to take this person because she seems to be responsible.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Any other questions, Monique? Because this is time for you to ask, because it's not just if you're really a job seeker or you want jobs, it's time to ask those things that is bothering you. Because this platform is for you, for you to use it and utilize it. So if you have questions, you can just ask. Feel free to ask,
Thank you so much. Please, one small question concerning the last thing you said, probably on workshops. When you attend workshop, add it to your CV. Sometimes I find it so difficult to really situate that, because maybe I attended a lot of workshops and some of them you don't have any attestation, but you know that you attended. And under skills, I can just coin a word and say I learned these skills. Is that still okay?
In terms of workshops, you can even have a session for workshops you have attended, workshops and conferences. Okay, so we don't need any attestation for if you're attending or not. Sometimes we just want to see that this person is open to learning, right? We want to know if the person is really open to learning. That is why you don't need any attestation. For the fact that you're able to write that alone, I've shown that, okay, so this person is really open to learning. And when you talk about organization that grows, workshops, conferences are part of them. They like those things. If you want to go, organizations that really want to grow, so they that loves growth. Let me put it that way. They want to see that you are attending, you are updating on your knowledge. You are not stagnant. All right. So these are things. You don't need to have attestation for that.
What if I'm avoiding to make my CV so long and congested?
Yeah, you go to the key points, yeah. So you can use one line for everything. I attended these workshops, so 2029, so 2019, so just the lines, don't make it your CV so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question before your session was on the self-assessment module. I was wondering if I have this form, I feel it's self-assessment anyways. Is there a third party that will check if all the things that I assess for myself are correct? Because if I'm not interviewed or nobody picked me up, they won't know if all these things are practical. They will just stay on my paper, on the form that I feel like I assess myself, I have these potentials, but never tested.
The self-assessment is for yourself, okay? For you to say, when you eventually, it can be useful for you when you are looking for a job. You look at, because of your self-assessment, you look at the areas you really want to focus your job hunt. All right, that's number one. Two, it can also be useful when you're doing interview. So probably when they ask you what's your strength, then you will not probably pick from your strengths and your self-assessment. And those weaknesses that you have already assessed as weakness in yourself, you can remember that and say something. Okay, but if I ask you what's your weakness, I don't have any weakness. No, I know that you are just I will not feel like you have taken me off point. Like if I'm your employer, if I'm your interviewer, when I ask what's your weakness and you're not telling me your weakness, then I know you're just not serious. You're just being lying. So, but that's your self-assessment that you have done. We don't need to show anybody to validate.
Okay. I'm glad to get this answer. Thank you so much. I think I'm satisfied.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Questions from the audience? More questions from participants?
And for the material, please, you said we will have it through email or what do we do now? So that we can have the book you just told us about.
Yeah, Natasha will talk about that next.
Okay, and also the slides that Natasha shared. I really tried to take screenshots, but I couldn't take everything.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. So we talked about salary, and there was one particular site I was applying to, and they wanted me to impute, and they wanted me to, sorry about that, they wanted me to impute a salary. So we are calculating. So you're like, okay, if you're going for an internship, there's a range. It's like, I don't know, like, are they paying per hour, or how do you calculate it? So what do you do at that point when you are asked to calculate your salary? Because of course there's a range. They could start from, let's just say they could start from 1,000 to 1,005. But what's the fair thing to do? Do you go for the minimum wage per hour? And what is the minimum wage per hour if you're going to go? So if we say, let's go with 13 euros per hour, which could be the least. Would that not be working against you at the end of the day if the company is supposed to be offering you, if you find out, okay, during the course of the interview, that the company would have paid you perhaps 15 euros per hour, is it possible to renegotiate at that point, or to negotiate the salary at that point, or you just have to take what you have? And then the next question is, please, can you go back to page number 71?
71.
Sorry, 79, please.
79. Okay.
Yes, 79.
Let me share the screens. 79. Okay. Yeah, this is 79.
Exactly. So point number one, so we're talking about taking into account the entire package of remuneration. So I don't know, how do you get this information? How do you know if they're going to pay for your health insurances? How do you know if they're going to the retirement programs and time paid off? So you're supposed to calculate all these things and then put it in your expected salary, right? That's what you said. But how do you get this information, especially if you're working like maybe it's a part-time job or a short-term job? How do you calculate these things? How do you get the information and then be able to calculate it? Thank you very much.
Okay. First of all, are you referring to short-term job, internship, or full-time job in your question?
Yeah, yeah. At this point, I am referring to the short-term job, especially for the first one, where the recruiting side, the website is asking you to input a job, a salary amount, an expected annual salary.
Yes.
So at least I'm doing a short-term job for 6 months or so. How do I calculate it? Is it per hour, and how much per hour if I'm going to go? And then how does it affect me in the long run when I could have gotten something higher?
So again, one way to know exactly what to input is check what is standards. And if you don't know how to check, you can also check at job sites, those job sites, and see what people are putting, what companies are putting for that your position, other companies. Okay, you look at those job sites and see what, probably take an average and input. All right, you take an average and input. So you don't need to.
Yeah, sorry. I want to add, when you take an average and impute, and like, so this could work both ways. You put something low and maybe you're not able to renegotiate it up, or then you put something high, and from that salary, you're disqualified based on the fact that you have put something. I mean, are they going to call you for the offer and say, oh, we got your application, but your salary expectation is too high? Do you get that chance to renegotiate it downwards? Or so how do you stay in the middle that you're not cut off or disqualified based on that?
Yes, again, as I was saying, I understand completely what you're saying. Okay, and I said that go to see that job description in other job portals. Look at how much they are offering. If you take 10 of them, you average. Average means you add everything and divide by the number. So it gives you an average, not too high, not too low. All right, and you put that in that website. So when you are in for an interview, most of it, sometimes companies already actually know exactly what they want to pay you. And when you go and put something very high, because it's not only you. We have there's a lot of a lot of people, applicants also vying for the same position you are. Maybe with better fits qualification, better fits, not better than you, but better fits, right? Maybe you might be two of you that they have chosen, but since what you have put there is very high, they will now take the other person. But not to be also putting something that is very low, you look at average. That's why I said you pick more samples. You bring samples of exactly that position from other job portals. You study about that position, and in their different websites, you can study about what do they pay such positions. Okay, and do some informed decision. So you must be informed. Don't just assume, oh, I put something low, oh, I put something high. No, how do you know you have put something low and high? So you have to know by what you look at what other people have advertised. Take not just from one place, take several, maybe up to 10. You add them, maybe you're looking, when they ask you to put something like that, they are asking you to put brutto. Brutto, it means in a year. And brutto means plus every kind of benefits, if it's real company, if it's not all these contracts, even some contracts, right? So they were asking you a brutto. It means the brutto covers your insurance, your retirement program, and pension and the likes. Okay, everything. So what's the brutto in a year annually? So let's assume you are an IT guy with a master's degree, and you check and you see, okay, they pay IT within the range of 43,000 euros per year, brutto to 50 or 52. and you pick different number one, the first one you pick, they said 42.99. Pick another one, they said 52.22. You pick 10 of them and you average them. That will give you the brutto. That's not netto. That's not after they have deducted income tax and paid your contributions. You have what they call the net, but they call it netto here in Germany. So to answer your question, you have to check others, what others have there online, and you average. You can average and put. That will help you to be in a safe position. And most of those amount that has been published online is talking about brutto in general, brutto. So it has every, it has all this package involved, like already inside brutto. Then short-term jobs, right? So sometimes all these short-term jobs are contract jobs that they tell you, oh, it's 12 euro per hour, it's 15 euro per hour jobs. I know they have such, right? So, but then you can also look at other websites and see some people, a lot of people, you will find definitely for the same position, the number of amount per hour. You average it and put it, maybe you might see some 15, you might see some 12, you might see some 13. By the time you average it, you might have 13, then you put 13 there. So don't always go to upper limit. You know, there's a limit. Don't navigate to upper limit and don't navigate to lower limits. Just be at the middle to be safe. Moya, I don't know if I've answered your question or I'm just Moya, have I answered your question or probably they have another question to add? Okay, maybe she's busy with kids. All right. So thank you, and let me pass the mic to Natasha.
Thank you so much, Shagun. So here today, we come to the end of our mentorship session. So here on the chat, I have information about our website and also the link for our evaluation form. I would like to request you all to evaluate us. And if you open the form, there you'll find all the information that you need to provide us to get the book as well. If you'd like to receive the book, if you are within the Germany, then we can send you the book in the address that you mentioned there. So I request you at least take some time to evaluate us so that it will be easy for us to also to make some changes or to have improvement in our next upcoming events as well.
So while you fill up this form, it's also, we can also send you hard copies if you're in Germany. This form, the book, we will send you hard copy in English, and if you want German or French or Italian, if you don't understand English, then we'll send you those copies too. So, but then the evaluation for us is really important. And another, I just want to give a general advice on as job seekers. It's really important that sometimes it's nice if you have time and you're looking for a job, start with volunteering, you know, in some firms. Start with volunteering or start with looking for internships, you know. If you have no other option, start with that. All right. Try to break into the work market. Try to break into, find by all means. Because with that, most of the time you try to get to know one or two new people that will add value to your life. Okay, try to attend conferences, you know, as Brian said on one of his slides, that your network is your net worth, you know. Try to build social capital. Social capital means the number of conferences and networking you have done. Go to events. You know, sometimes I like to go to all these Mensa events, you know. I like those things. I would just, you know, sometimes I would just, before I am coming back home, I will have a lot of pamphlets, you know. when I get these pamphlets, I read them, I'll see, oh, so they have something in geoscience. Oh, they have done it. Oh, okay, I can go to this area. I love it. So you can also pick your interest. You know, you can also pick what sometimes you don't even know what you want. You're done. You'll finish your master's. Okay, you have done a lot of theories in your master's degree. Now you don't even know where to specialize. You don't know what jobs offer, where to apply. So all these Mensa, like Mensa means trade fair, job trade fairs, even trade fair in general are places where you just see some new things. Oh, wow, so this thing is happening. Wow, so they are using artificial intelligence in international relationship to you'll be surprised what you need in these places. Then it can help you to fine tune, your knowledge on where to search. So these are very important. So these are important tips I just think I should share also with you. And thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Shagun. And I'd like to also inform everyone that, like, if you would like to have individual mentorship session, we are also open to it. So if you want to have individual mentorship session, either physical or even online, you have my email address. You can contact me through email, or you can even go to our website. There is a contact form. You can even fill there and contact us anytime. Whenever you think like you need a guidance regarding your job search journey, then we are always open to help you in any stage of your job search journey. Okay, I think now we should end our session. So thank you everyone for a very interactive mentorship session. I hope this mentorship session was very effective and you learned a lot from us, I guess. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Are we taking snapshots?
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
And same
Thank
to you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.